What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel, Munchie's ASMR vlog. So let's make dinner, guys. I'm going to be doing some smothered pork chops and gravy with some white rice. So I have my pork chops, my white rice here, and you're going to take 2 cups or 2 parts water to 1 cup of rice, okay? So that's what you see me doing here. I'm just simply taking whatever measurement I have and just doubling the water. So whenever I do the rice, I'll just do 1 cup of rice. So here I have some vegetable oil. You can use whatever oil you would like to use. This is just regular vegetable oil. So here I have my pork chop. Just gonna be seasoning the pork chops here. Well, first, before we season, I have some vinegar. I'm going to pour over the pork chop. Now, the reason why I do that is not only that it helps clean the meat, I'm going to add some water to it, but not only does it help clean and cleanse the meat, it also helps it tenderize. So you want to let that sit for like 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes at best. And then you're just going to pour the water off and get your batter together. And all I do, y'all, is just regular all-purpose flour, maybe like a cup of all-purpose flour, then a cup of cornstarch, a little salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. That's all. That's the all-purpose flour. Guys, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment. These are old videos. They're already up on my channel, but they have music in the background. And I just decided, just recently uploading these videos again. Because I upload a lot of shorts. That's the starch. I upload a lot of shorts, guys, and a lot of people find me through my shorts, and they want the recipes to some of the stuff that I post. And so I'm not going to be doing my recipes in those shorts. You have to find me on the long form content. It's just better for me. So yeah, the garlic powder, the black pepper, um, and the onion powder, of course, inside of the flour cornstarch mixture while we're letting our pork chops sit. Yes, this recipe, majority of this recipe comes from my mother, whom I lost about 3 years ago. But you just want to mix it, y'all. But I keep her spirit alive by just cooking some of the meals that she used to make. Okay? So you want to set that aside, and you want to drain the water off of the pork chop. Now, this same recipe, you can use boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You can use turkey chops. Um, you can use just chicken wings, any type of meat as such, okay? Um, yeah, so now we're going to season the meat with basically the same seasonings. Black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. Um, yes, garlic powder. Let's see. I don't know what I was doing here. This video is so old, y'all. Onion powder. I think I had to open up a new one or something. I don't know. But yeah, and I think I use a little bit of paprika. I usually do paprika and a little cayenne. I always add to the meat. Yeah, that's the paprika there. And it's just regular paprika, not the smoked. Um yes, and you're gonna add mustard. Now the mustard helps all of that seasoning bind to your meat. And also it helps for when you are going to batter. It helps the batter adhere to the meat as well. Now some people do it differently. Some people do the egg bath, which is nothing wrong with it. I just find this way a little bit quicker. I only use the egg baths whenever I have buttermilk, and y'all will see that in another video. So here I'm just simply cutting these chops in half because they are big. So I'm just cutting them in half just to make some extra pieces. And sometimes you don't want really big pieces, especially when you're doing like a gravy, um, because you put that gravy over the rice. Um, you want it in a smaller piece anyway, so that you can just enjoy it and eat it together without having to cut it. So that's what I'm doing right here. Usually I would cut it before seasoning it and everything, but so right here you're just gonna use 1 cup um of rice. So whatever measurement you have, if you have a smaller cup, you basically just use 2 of that cup of water to 1 cup of rice. Get what I'm saying? And you can take and wash your rice off and everything like that. Also, inside of the rice water, a little tip that I do, I didn't show it here, but I take like a little bit, maybe a teaspoon of cooking oil and put it inside the water along with some salt. And you just want to let that water heat up. And right here, I'm just lining a bowl with some foil, and you take some paper towel and put it down so that when your chops are done or whatever meat you are frying, when it's done, you have somewhere to lay it. You want to go ahead and get this part out of the way so that you're not rushing to get your stuff out the pan. Okay? So that's what I'm doing. Some people use a rack, um, which is fine. And also, right here, I have some coffee filters, which works perfectly fine if you don't have any paper towels. It kind of does the same thing. And it works just as good. Okay, so you set that aside. You have your pork chops and your flour mixture, your flour cornstarch mixture, which has been seasoned. So y'all forgive me. I don't have a regular camera. I'm using my phone and a phone stand. And then at some points in the video, it may look a little bit shaky because I'm holding the camera. So yeah. But right here, I'm just battering the chops. And I just make sure I get some on every piece. And you're good to go. And I try to batter as much. as many as I can fit in the pan. And sometimes I just go ahead and I just batter everything. But I think right here I just battered enough for the pan. Oh, no. I think I'm going to be battering everything. um, so, yeah, I battered all of them. I think this night I was just trying to hurry up and get something done because it was late and I wanted to make enough for that night and possibly the next day so that I wouldn't have to cook. Okay, y'all. So here we go. We're going to drop our chops in our hot oil. While we was doing all of that, our oil was getting hot. Okay? Um so y'all see how my camera is shaking? I was trying my best to get this video done. I was determined. Look at that. Fresh fried pork chops. Now, I get it. Some people don't eat pork chops. You don't have to eat pork chops, okay? Like I said, you can do boneless, skinless, chicken thighs. That's the oil that I put in the pot, y'all. That's a trick that I just kind of learned along the way. And what that does to the rice, it kind of gives that rice a like a fried rice texture, and it keeps it from lumping together. Okay? So we've fried our first batch of pork chops. Look at that, golden brown. And we're just gonna lay it over here. Look at that. So nice. And y'all, this was one of my dad's favorite meals. He loved smothered pork chops and gravy with onions and rice. So there's our rice. It's almost done. And you want to just kind of leave your top off a little bit so that it won't overflow when boiling. See that? My camera fogged up. It's hot. But the rice is done. And you want to boil that rice for like 30-40 minutes at best. So we have most of our pork chops done. Maybe all of them at this point. Rice is done. So now we have to make our gravy. So you got the oil left over. So you're going to put most of that oil in another pan. And what you're going to do is leave just a little bit in the pan. So we have some beef bouillon powder, some brown gravy mix in a packet, some onions, some diced onions, and some diced green bell peppers. At this point, you could just use onions and just fry them down. I just used the bell peppers because that was what I already had cut up. So then once you have that going, you want to take a little bit of that flour cornstarch mixture and put it in the pan with your onions and peppers. And what you want to do is basically fry it down. Make it like a roux, basically. A roux, like without butter and using oil. And you just want that to darken a little bit. Okay? So now you're going to go in with your brown gravy mix packet. You're going to throw that in there. This is something I came up with myself, y'all. But you want to throw that in there. I wish I would have cut up some onions a lot bigger, and then y'all would have seen it look a little bit better. Then you got some onion Lipton soup mix. You want to pour that in there as well. When I do it this way, y'all, it just limits the amount of actual salt I have to put in here. Because these packets have plenty of salt and it has plenty of flavor. So you just want to stir all of that up. Okay? Stir it all up. It's just going to make some thick, like a thick crumbly roux. But that oil usually soaks that up, okay? So now, with the heat going, you just want to pour in some water. And what you want to do, because it's going to break down with that water. When it heats up, that's going to break down. You're going to stir it, and it's going to start to thicken. My mom always taught me that the longer you let it sit in the heat, the thicker it'll become. And you just want to let it cook down. So now you want to add your seasonings, your chicken, your beef bouillon. This is the beef one. Even though we're not eating beef, the beef one just tastes good. So we got some black pepper. We got a little bit of seasoned salt. If you want to use a little seasoned salt, that's fine. As you go cooking this, you just want to gradually taste it, because adding that water did kind of thin out the seasonings. So you just want to kind of just pinch and add back. See how it's getting thick, y'all? But y'all want to let it boil a little bit. Okay, so now I've had it boiling for like 5 minutes. I added a little bit more water. It's like one of those trial and error things, guys. You just got to kind of do it as you go. And then just like let it sit over the heat. It will thicken back up. So once you let it go for about another 5 or 7 minutes, and you want to take your fried pieces and put them into the gravy, and then just like let it cook some more. I prefer the pieces with the bones inside, because those bones have flavor too, y'all. And then you can have some without the bone. But this is how my mom did it. She fried it first and then put it in the gravy. So it's going to thicken up. You let it sit or whatever. You want to let it simmer for like another 5 or 7 minutes. It's a tedious, see how it's bubbling, y'all? It's a tedious process, but it's so good. Like, it's so good. So good. I love it. I love it. This is like Southern cooking at its best, y'all. So now we're going to try to plate up the rice. Okay. Now you see how it's not really sticking together? It is, but it isn't. And when you eat it, it gives off that fried rice kind of effect. But it's really good, and it cooks well. And now what you want to do is take some of that gravy and some of that meat and slather all over that rice. Y'all, this meal will go good with just these two items by itself. Or you can take and make maybe some red beans with some cornbread, or maybe like some cabbage with some cornbread. You can do red beans with some homemade biscuits or whatever. But this is dinner, y'all. And I hope you enjoy it.